In today's video, we're going to talk about how you can spice up the blues with chromatic passages. Grab your guitar. I'll meet you right after this. Hello, my name is David. Welcome to this channel, which is all about helping you develop your musical personality on the instrument so that you can tell a better, more personal musical story. Today we are working in the key of A. It's a blues in A. This backing track right here can be downloaded with the charts of this video for free. There's a link in the description of this video that'll take you to a sign up page. Sign up once, get access to these downloads and many other downloads on the channel. It's free. All right, ready for this? Here we go. First of all, what is a chromatic passage? A chromatic passage is the straight line between two notes that is going to include all the possible notes in between. So if we're in the key of A, this is a blues in A, and we look at the first two notes of an A minor pentatonic, which will take the A on the low E string 5th fret, and the next note is on the low E string 8th fret. In between, we have two notes, and these four notes altogether are the chromatic passage between the root and the minor third. This means that some of these notes are going to be great, very stable. They're going to be part of the scale from which we extracted the chords and the licks and all that for a coherent musical experience. But other notes are not going to be stable. They're going to clash a little bit. So for example, on our track here, if I play the very first note of our scale, low E string 5th fret, that's a good stable note. That's the root. The next note, oh, that's kind of uncomfortable. This one is not that uncomfortable, and this one right here is very stable. And that's okay, because when playing chromatic, the notes don't matter as much as the rhythm, as the sense of direction that you're having. It's going to give you a fuller type of sound with all the notes in between. It's going to sound a little more complex, but because you're not landing and resting on these uncomfortable notes, the complexity is not perceived as over complex. All right, enough of that. You are here to spice up the blues. So how does it work? It works like this. We're going to see all the possible notes of the scale that you're playing. So in this case, we'll consider that we're playing in A minor pentatonic across all the fretboard. You pick your position, it doesn't matter. We're going to see these notes as the bones. Yes, I do like analogies, but I think there's a point to this because the bones are essential in movement and in a structure, a structural being. Without the bones, you can't really add the muscles, the flesh, the hair, and all of those things. You need the skeleton first. The idea is to land on a bone, any bones. If we're in a minor pentatonic setting, we have 5 bones, and in between, we have those connection points. Let's give this a try. Now to simplify this, we're going to work in different positions, slices of the fretboard, and we're going to take a look at the bones that are found on the same strings. So if we are in A minor pentatonic in this slice of the fretboard, the first position between frets 5 and 8, those are the two first bones we encounter, 5, 8. In between you have the flesh, the muscles, and all those things. There we go. Now on the next string we have 2 bones. We can connect these 2 bones right here with 1 note in between. Same with the next string. We have frets 5, bone, 6, flesh, 7, bone. Next string, again, 5, 6, 7. Next one, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the next one, 5, 6, 7, 8. So altogether, we have this kind of scale. So altogether, over the backing track, this is the kind of scale that we have. Descending. So we could do this with all the positions of, in this case, the minor pentatonic scale. And we would have different parts of the same body, the same scale, because these 5 notes, 5 bones are just repeated over and over all across the fretboard. It's just a way to visualize that. Now, the big question, how do we make this musical? We're going to start very simple. Here's our phrase. Very simple. I'm just playing the bones right here, starting on this bone, which is on the 4th string, 7th fret. And then I'm ascending to the next bone, and then I'm flexing, bending this bone so that it reaches this one. Then playing this bone again, this one, and that one. So that's our original idea. We're gonna add some flesh. Now we don't have to play all the flesh in between. If we did, it would sound something like this. Which can be an okay idea, but we're going to be subtle here. So maybe we'll just approach the first bone with a flesh just below, which is on the 4th string, 6th fret, and we'll slide into that bone. It's very subtle. We only added one note to the series of bones, one note that is kind of outside of the structure, the skeleton, and that note, if we land on it, it doesn't really work, but within the context of the skeleton, it does. Now, it's very subtle. Here's the original idea. We're gonna add that piece of flesh just behind. Very, very subtle, right? But with these subtleties, we can start creating a musical story that is a little more detailed, a little more personal. At this point, it's really a game of development and self-discovery. But as you do this, keep in mind that picture, the skeleton and the pieces in between the bones, which are all the other things, muscles, flesh, and all that. We're gonna develop that over the track. I'm gonna start with a phrase, very skeleton-based phrase. Just the bones there. Okay, now I'm gonna add a little bit of flesh. See how it's a little fuller? As opposed to... Both ideas are very similar in some ways. They mean the same thing, but one is a little more detailed. And that's the filter that I want you to have. If you feel stuck with this kind of exercise, a great way that I've found to get unstuck is to picture that skeleton and zoom in to an area of that skeleton. The shoulder, for example. Let's say that you're aiming for this bone right here, whatever it's called. I'm not a doctor, but that bone, and you're gonna start from this muscle, the shoulder muscle. So you're gonna start shoulder, and then land on this bone. And then you're going to repeat that. Shoulder, bone, shoulder, bone, shoulder, bone. What? Yes, let's consider that this note right here, 2nd string, 8th fret, is that bone right here. Now, shoulder is just below that. So, okay, we're going to play it just below. That's a piece of flesh, a muscle, whatever it is. It's not a bone. And then we're going to land on this. That's the idea. Let's hear this over the track. I'm just kind of playing games. Now let's say that I want to go from the shoulder to, do I have a bone here? I don't know. Any doctors watching this? Let me know below, but from the shoulder to here, so we're gonna do a chromatic thing, going through the whatever it is, and then bam, right? There's no bone here. Yeah, there's a bone. I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna go there. So we're starting on the shoulder. Okay, dun, dun, dun. And then back to this shoulder. So I couldn't resist doing. I just love playing the blues. Anyways, that's what I have for you today. It's so simple. It's so simple that I think most people who watch this video might not take it to heart. But if you do, oh my gosh, wonderful things can happen with your playing, really, especially if you spend enough time with each positions, extracting from each positions the magic, the juice of these positions, having that filter of skeleton, flesh, and all that. And yeah, I sound crazy, don't I? I'm not. Try the backing track, get the charts, apply the concept to your playing, see what happens, and let me know below if something new and inspiring happens. I think it will. Thank you for watching this anatomy, blues, guitar, weird lesson, till the end, really appreciate it. Subscribe and well, hit that bell notification so that you don't miss anything. And get the backing track in the charts and see what you can come up with. And if you still want to stick around for another video, check out the top one. Thank you so much for watching this. I'll see you very soon. Practice well.